Close your eyes, if only for a moment, and forget what the world has told you about money, struggle, and limitation. Forget the numbers in your bank account, the voices of doubt, the weight of your past. None of these define you. What defines you is your consciousness. Wealth is not something you earn. It is something you embody. It is not outside of you, waiting to be discovered. It is within you, waiting to be assumed. Act as if you are wealthy, and you will be. Not because acting is pretending, but because acting is creating. Every gesture, every thought, every word spoken from the place of already having sets the mold for your future. Feel now what it feels like to be financially free. Feel it so vividly that the boundaries between imagination and reality dissolve. See yourself walking into the room with confidence, knowing there is more than enough. Speak as one who lacks nothing. Move as one who owns the world, not arrogantly, but with quiet, powerful certainty. You are not trying to get rich. You are revealing the richness that has always been yours. When you act as if, you are not lying. Ignore appearances. Ignore the echo of the old self. The old self is just a memory, fading with every new assumption you make. Replace lack with lavishness in your inner world, and the outer world will follow. The universe is not deciding what to give you. It is responding to who you are being. Each time you imagine yourself wealthy, each time you feel the joy of abundance, you are planting seeds in unseen soil, and those seeds must grow. So, persist. Persist not with effort, but with faith. Persist in your inner wealth until the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Walk like it, dress like it, think like it, feel like it, every single day. You are the cause, you are the center. And the moment you choose to act from wealth, wealth begins to form around you. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. Wealth is a state of consciousness, not a bank balance. It is not measured by how much you possess in the physical world, but by how deeply you believe in your abundance within. There are those who have millions in the bank, yet live in constant fear of loss, gripped by a mindset of scarcity. And there are others who may have very little, but carry themselves with such confidence, such calm assurance that the world bends to their belief in prosperity. This state of wealth begins in the mind, not in the material. It is a frequency, a vibration, a way of being that does not depend on evidence, but on inner conviction. It is the quiet knowing that you are provided for, that the substance of life is already moving in your favor. When you dwell in the consciousness of wealth, you no longer ask, how will I get more? Instead, you begin to move through life with the awareness that you already have more than enough. To be wealthy in consciousness means you see opportunities where others see obstacles. You feel gratitude before the manifestation arrives. You expect the best without needing to justify your expectation. Your sense of richness comes not from accumulation, but from alignment with the truth that everything flows from within. This inner wealth is stable. It cannot be stolen, shaken, or taxed. It does not rise and fall with markets or trends. It is grounded in the unchanging truth of your being. When you wake up in the morning feeling abundant before the world gives you a reason to, you are walking in the state of true wealth. And from that place, everything else begins to align. Assume the feeling of already having wealth. Let it settle in your body, in your breath, in your posture. Close the gap between where you are and where you wish to be by stepping into the emotional reality of your desire. This is not fantasy. It is creation. You are not simply imagining for pleasure. You are imagining with intention, with purpose, with power. Feel the weightlessness that comes when money is no longer a concern. Sense the calm clarity that guides your choices when you know every need is met before it even arises. Allow your thoughts to flow as they would if your wealth were already complete. Let your words reflect the certainty of one who lacks nothing. There is no struggle in this place, no grasping or efforting. Only ease, only freedom, only the soft confidence of fulfillment. When you assume the feeling, you bypass the logic of the world. You are no longer negotiating with facts or figures. You are living from a higher law, one that responds not to what is, but to what is assumed to be. The world around you begins to reflect this inner shift, not because you forced it to, but because consciousness is causation. Dwell in the mood of wealth, as if it were your most natural state. Let the rhythm of your day be shaped by this inner affluence. Order your coffee as if you could afford anything on the menu. Walk into the room as though you belonged in the highest circles. Not to impress, not to deceive, but because your inner world has already changed. You are simply letting the outer world catch up. Your imagination creates your financial reality. Everything you experience in your outer world first begins as a seed within the unseen landscape of your mind. Imagination is not a child's tool for play. It is the divine power within you, shaping substance, drawing experiences, and molding reality according to the images you hold with feeling. When you imagine yourself wealthy, free, abundant, and secure, and you persist in that inner vision, you begin to summon the very circumstances that match that assumption. Money does not appear randomly. Opportunities do not arrive by chance. They are drawn to you by the persistent pictures you hold in consciousness. If you continuously imagine limitation, lack, or struggle, life will faithfully echo that back to you. But if you dare to revise the picture, if you begin to see yourself in prosperity, to feel the success before it appears, to hear the sounds and tastes and textures of a wealthy life, then that world must take shape around you. Your current financial state is only the residue of past imaginal acts. What you imagined yesterday is what you are living today, and what you dare to imagine now becomes the foundation of tomorrow. The mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It reacts emotionally to both, and emotion is the force that brings the imaginal into form. Imagination is your workshop, your temple, your engine. It is where the invisible becomes visible, where thought becomes flesh. When you use it consciously and deliberately, you stop reacting to the world and begin creating it, not through effort or control, but through alignment. Whatever you continue to imagine with feeling and repetition must become your experience, for imagination is the first cause of all things, including wealth. The outer world mirrors your inner conviction. It does not respond to your words alone or to your wishes spoken in fear. It responds to what you deeply, silently, and consistently believe to be true about yourself, your environment, your bank account, your relationships, your opportunities. They are all reflections of the assumptions you hold within. You are not seeing the world as it is. You are seeing it as you are. If you hold the conviction that you are always struggling, that money slips through your fingers, that abundance is something others enjoy but not you, then life will mirror that belief faithfully. It has no choice. Life simply reflects the image held in consciousness with the most feeling. But when you shift that inner certainty, when you begin to feel, even without evidence, that you are supported, that wealth is natural to you, that money comes easily and joyfully, then reality begins to rearrange itself to match your new state. You cannot fake conviction. It is not a surface-level affirmation or a forced smile. It is a deep-rooted knowing, often quiet and steady, that shapes every action, every decision, every outcome. Conviction doesn't wait for proof. It creates it. It is the inner lawgiver, the hidden architect behind all you see. The world around you bends not to effort, but to embodiment. When you become the person who is already wealthy in your imagination, when you walk, speak, and think from that place, the world begins to yield. People treat you differently. Ideas and opportunities flow to you. You notice doors that were always there but previously invisible to your old state of mind. You don't have to chase the outer world. You only have to change the inner one. And when your conviction becomes unshakable, so too does your reality. Speak, walk, and think like the wealthy version of you. Let every movement, every word, every inner dialogue arise from the version of yourself who already lives in abundance, not as an act of pretense, but as a declaration of truth. The way you carry yourself, the tone of your voice, the quality of your thoughts, all are signals to the unseen forces shaping your reality. When they are aligned with wealth, wealth must respond. Speak with clarity, with calm assurance, with the authority of someone who knows there is more than enough. The wealthy version of you does not complain, does not beg, does not speak in terms of lack or need. They speak of possibility, of expansion, of gratitude for what already is. Their words carry power because they are rooted in a deep awareness of abundance. Walk with purpose, with ease, with grace, not rushed, not frantic, but deliberate. The wealthy version of you knows that time is on your side, that everything is unfolding in divine order. Your posture communicates self-respect and confidence. Your steps become a silent affirmation of your worth. Then, above all, think as the wealthy think. Release the inner chatter of doubt, guilt, or unworthiness. Let your mind dwell on creation, not on fear. Let it be filled with the ideas, visions, and feelings that match the life you are choosing. The thoughts you entertain form the blueprint of your experience, and when you think from wealth, you step into the consciousness that shapes it. You don't need to wait for evidence before you embody this version of yourself. The transformation begins the moment you decide to operate from the state of already having. It is in this daily choice, in how you speak, how you walk, and how you think, that the foundation of wealth is built. Do not chase wealth. Embody it. Chasing implies separation. It suggests that what you desire is somewhere out there, beyond your reach, running ahead of you, always just a step away. But embodiment dissolves that illusion. When you embody wealth, you claim it as already yours. You no longer seek it, you become it. You walk as if it is natural to you, as if it flows through your being, not as something to acquire, but as something you already are. The act of chasing creates tension. It affirms lack. It places your desire on a pedestal and declares that you are beneath it. But when you embody, you bring your desire down into your current self. You wear it, breathe it, move with it. You don't strive to get rich. You live from the state of richness now, in your thoughts, in your choices, in your assumptions. Embodying wealth is subtle. It doesn't mean pretending with arrogance or flaunting what you don't yet physically have. It means adopting the inner atmosphere of someone for whom abundance is ordinary. You make decisions not out of fear of lack, but from the quiet knowing that all is provided. You invest your energy, your time, and your attention like someone who trusts their value. When you embody something, you align with its frequency. You draw it in by resonance, not by force. And in that alignment, opportunities unfold, doors open, synchronicities appear, not because you hunted them down, but because you matched them from within. Wealth flows to the one who lives as if they already have it. Not because of magic, but because consciousness always expresses itself in form. Let your assumptions override your senses. Your senses report what is, but your assumptions create what will be. If you live only by what your eyes can see and your ears can hear, you remain bound to the past, trapped in the echo of former beliefs. But when you dare to let your assumptions take precedence, you step into the creative power that shapes reality. You are no longer reacting to life, you are commanding it from within. Assume wealth, even if the numbers say otherwise. Assume abundance, even if your surroundings reflect lack. Assume success even if there's no physical sign of it yet. This is not denial, it is creation. The senses are servants. They were never meant to be your master. They will eventually confirm what you assume, but they must follow, not lead. When you persist in an assumption, you plant it deeper than appearances can reach. It begins to form roots in the unseen, and though nothing seems to change at first, you remain unmoved. You walk by faith, not by sight. You trust that your inner world is more real, more powerful, more lasting than what you temporarily observe. The senses will tempt you to doubt. They will present evidence of delay, of struggle, of contradiction, but those are only reflections of your former state. Do not return to them. Remain faithful to your assumption. Let it speak louder than your circumstances. Let it guide your reactions, your posture, your inner speech. Live from it until it becomes the only truth you know. Every great transformation begins with a decision to trust the unseen over the visible. When you allow your assumptions to override your senses, you step into a dimension of power that few dare to claim. You no longer need signs. You become the sign. Every action must come from the version of you who is already wealthy, not from the version who is trying to get there, hoping, waiting, or working to become wealthy, but from the one who has already arrived. This is the secret, to act from the end, not toward it. When you take action from the place of already having, you align every movement with the frequency of your desire. Your behavior, your decisions, your responses all become consistent with your new identity. The wealthy version of you doesn't act from fear or desperation. They don't chase opportunities in panic or make choices rooted in scarcity. They move deliberately, confidently, knowing that life supports their state. Even small, everyday actions, how you respond to an email, how you speak to a stranger, how you handle a bill, become different when filtered through the mindset of abundance. This isn't about spending recklessly or pretending in the outer world. It's about internally aligning every step with the consciousness of wealth. That may mean choosing patience where you once chose urgency. It may mean saying no to something that doesn't resonate with your higher vision, even when the old self would have accepted it out of fear. The actions of the wealthy self are infused with calm power. There's no rush because wealth is assumed. There's no anxiety because provision is a given. Every move is made from inner security, not outer lack. And as you continue to act from this place, your reality must conform. The world begins to reflect back to you the version of yourself you've chosen to embody. You don't wait until the evidence shows up to behave differently. You behave differently and the evidence shows up. Each action becomes an affirmation of who you are, not who you're trying to be. Persistence in the assumption brings it into form. It is not the occasional thought, the fleeting visualization, or the hopeful wish that changes reality. It is the steady, unwavering dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled. When you persist in an inner knowing, despite what your senses report, you lay the foundation for the unseen to become seen. You are impressing upon the deeper layers of consciousness a new truth. And once that impression is made, it must externalize. Assumption is the seed, but persistence is the soil, the water, the sunlight. Without persistence, the seed remains dormant. The assumption must be lived in, returned to, fed with feeling and belief until it becomes more real to you than what the world temporarily reflects. And this is where many turn back. When the outer world resists, when time seems to stretch, when nothing appears to change. But the persistent mind is not moved by delay. It understands that the process is already underway. To persist means to embody the end again and again. It means to refuse to drop back into the old self, no matter how tempting it is to do so. It means to remain faithful to your new identity, even in silence, even in solitude. Each time you return to the assumption, you deepen its roots. You create new patterns of thought, new emotional habits, new responses that align with the version of you who already has what they desire. Reality yields to persistence because persistence is proof of belief, and belief is the force that bends conditions, that summons people, that rearranges outcomes. The outer world is fluid, not fixed. It takes the shape of your dominant inner state. When you persist, you prove to the universe that your assumption is not a passing thought but a chosen truth, and truth, once accepted without resistance, must become experience. You are not becoming wealthy, you are remembering that you already are. Wealth is not something to be earned, acquired, or chased after in the future. It is a truth that exists within you right now. This truth may be hidden beneath layers of doubt, fear, or forgetfulness, but it has always been there, waiting patiently for you to awaken to it. The idea that you must struggle to reach wealth is a mistaken belief, a story created by the mind that does not yet recognize its own power. To remember your wealth is to reconnect with the source within, the part of you that is infinite, whole, and complete. It is to realize that scarcity and lack are illusions, distractions from your true nature. You are not building something new, you are uncovering what has always been your birthright. The wealth you seek is not outside you, lost in the world, but inside you, waiting to be acknowledged, embraced, and expressed. This remembering changes everything. It shifts your perspective from efforting to surrendering, from chasing to allowing. When you know that wealth is already yours, you stop fighting against reality and begin to align with it. You see yourself not as a victim of circumstances, but as the source from which all abundance flows. This awareness releases you from limitation and invites you to step fully into your power. Every belief, every thought, every feeling that contradicts this remembrance is simply a veil to be lifted. The moment you choose to remember, that veil begins to dissolve. You start to live as the wealthy self you have always been beneath the surface. And in doing so, you transform not only your experience, but the world around you. Wealth is not something distant or unattainable. It is the natural expression of your inner state, the reflection of your deepest assumptions and beliefs. When you choose to act as if you are already wealthy, when you embody that truth fully and persistently, you invite the world to align with your vision. Your imagination is the creative force, your conviction the blueprint, and your consistent actions the building blocks. Trust in the power within you, for you are the source of your own abundance. Thank you for listening and for stepping into the reality of your wealth today.